Yeah, 30 seconds.
We are unmuted.
All right. We are now unmuted and recording.
Unmuted and recording.
Unmuted and recording.
Okay, we got 30 seconds. Maybe that's.
Feels like blast off. Like,
Yeah, Sherry.
yeah.
Hey, Sherry's with go with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to those online and to those in the room. I'm Amy Berry, Vice Chair. Unfortunately, our Chair, Lieutenant Governor Anthony, is not able to be here today, so I'll be running the meeting with Denise's help. And I think the first thing is, after we've just called it to order officially, is roll call of the advisory board meeting or board members. So please say aye if you are here. Lieutenant Governor Anthony? Amy Berry, Vice Chair, here. Claricia Baca?
No.
Sherry Davis?
Here.
Bobby Jones?
Erin Keller is here for Bobby Jones.
Okay. Stacy M? Jonathan Brunges?
Here.
Greg Jewell?
Here.
Rafael Villanueva?
Here.
Right. Vincent Guthrow?
Yep, here. Thank you.
Deborah Strickland?
Janie Reeves is here for Deborah.
Chad Taylor?
No.
Sheva Gabor? That was online, okay. Miles Kinsler?
I'm here for Miles. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Tammy.
Agenda item number 3, review and approval of minutes from November 13, 2025 and April 21, 2026 meeting for possible action.
Motion for both of them.
Motion for both of them?
Seconded.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed?
Need someone besides Tammy to second. Oh, was it Sherry? Can you second? Oh, yeah, I second.
Okay, motion passes. Item number 4, review and approval of agenda for possible action. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Right? Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Sherry's. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No, hearing none, the motion passes.
Amazing.
Okay, 5, public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. The public may request that items be added to a future agenda. No action will be taken on any matter raised during the public comment period that is not already on the agenda. Persons making a public comment will be asked to begin by stating and spelling their name for the record. At the chair's discretion, items on this agenda may be taken in a different order than listed in the agenda. 2 or more items may be combined for consideration by the board, or agenda items may be removed from the agenda. Do we have any public comment? See no one in the room. Anyone online for public comment? Okay, public comment is closed. Item number 6, advisory board welcome introductions and comments from the chair for discussion. I'll take this one in Chair Anthony's absence. So I think we first want to formally introduce and welcome Vince, the new director of DCNR, former executive director of the Nevada Association of Counties, aka NACO. Vince's career includes work at all levels of government, including district communications and rural outreach for former U.S. Congressman Jim Gibbons, as well as prior service within DCNR. Vince, would you like to say a few words about yourself?
Sure. This is my first meeting in person. I joined virtually when you were all out at Elko last time. Yeah, happy to be on the board. Happy to be the director of the department. So not much else to say. Look forward to a good meeting today. Thank you.
Thank you. We'd also like to welcome the new administrator of Nevada Division of State Parks, Jonathan Brunges, who was one of the former deputy administrators of NDSP before Bob Mergell retired a couple of weeks ago. Jonathan, would you like to share anything with the group?
Sure. Again, I'm happy to be here and looking forward to it. I've been with parks for a long time, and so I know our parks pretty well across the state. And hopefully we can bring something to the committee and help make progress here in outdoor rec.
Terrific. Well, we're really excited to have both of you in your new roles and on this committee. We also have two guests filling in, Janie Reeves for NACO and Deborah Strickland, and Aaron Keller from NDOW, who serves as the statewide outdoor education coordinator, conservation education division. Aaron is filling in for Bobby Jones today. So welcome to you for.
Oh, yeah.
Just another update, which is just kind of fun. We were talking about, since it is the Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec, is the Lake Tahoe Summit this year is celebrating its 30th anniversary, which is a pretty big deal. And it will be hosted at Sand Harbor on August 18th. I'm sorry, August 19th. And Senator Jackie Rosen will be the host, and we're looking like a pretty good turnout. We opened the invites on Monday and 600 people are already registered. So it's a really wonderful opportunity to put Sand Harbor and Nevada State Parks on a big federal stage for the day. So it should be really exciting. Good moment for the state of Nevada and for state parks especially. All right, great. Well, we have a full agenda, so I think we'll keep going. Okay, agenda number 7, division updates for discussion. We'll start with Denise Baronio, Administrator, and Elizabeth Johnson, Deputy Administrator. Jasmina Sekanovich.
Yasmina Sekanovich.
Sekanovich, sorry. GIS Mapping Analyst. Chelsea Kinchelo, Program Officer and Columns Lead. Kaden Barmore, OHV Program Manager. They may provide updates as they apply regarding division activities, partnerships, opportunities, challenges, initiatives, collaborations, relevant public lands updates, state legislative updates, accomplishments, as well as ongoing and upcoming. Denise.
Thank you, Amy. Denise Baronio for the record. Just a reminder, if anybody speaks, please state your name clearly for the record before you speak. Really excited to have this at UNR. I want to first thank Fred Steinman at the business department for making this happen, for sponsoring lunch today. So we really appreciate you. And this is such a great room. Tell Tom thank you. For us, this is Tom Burns's room. Sherry was saying her boss's room that he has his name on the plaque outside the door. So very excited to be at UNR. This beautiful building. Just for everyone's awareness, this was all paid for with private money. There's no state or federal money used to build this amazing building. How much did it cost?
$160 million.
Wow.
Still plenty of opportunities to give and get your name on something.
Yeah.
I don't think you're allowed to do solicitation.
So again, thank you to UNR for hosting us today. And we have a guest from UNR who's also going to be speaking later. Just some quick updates from me, promise quick today. We have the contract approved for the Tahoe Meadows Winter Safety Strategic Management Plan. Endor U.S. Forest Service and NDOT met last week with the new contractor design workshop, and we will be creating a calendar of meetings for both public and for partners over the next 4 months. It's a very, very quick, tight timeline because that process did take 6 months because it is state government. And so we have 4 months left to finish this process, but we're excited to do it. And this will allow us to get planning in place to help projects both for winter and summer. There'll be spillover into summer recreation if we're doing parking lot planning and those sorts of things for a lot of the projects that Amy helps with up at Tahoe Meadows. So Sheva, if she is online, I think she is, Sheva will be able to share a little bit more about that in partner updates and member updates when we get to the end here. We've also been working on the Recreation Shared Stewardship Agreement. So that is between U.S. Forest Service, Endor, Fish and Wildlife, NDOW, state parks. There's a whole slew of BLM, a whole slew of federal and state partners that participate in the Recreation Shared Stewardship Agreement. And we are renewing that this fall with the governor. So stay tuned for a date for that. In-person signing will be end of September, beginning of October. So while we're revamping that, we look forward to sharing that update with you at the end of September. Our team has been extremely busy traveling the whole country like Elizabeth and I have not seen each other pretty much for the last 8 weeks. We've all been traveling quite a bit, and it's been exciting. Events and all kinds of conferences and new information that we're learning to bring back and share with the advisory board members, as well as our other agencies, about ideas for outdoor recreation planning and access. The whole team went to the Mountain West Trails Conference in Rock Springs, Wyoming. We got to spend the night in Salt Lake City because it snowed. So Janie was there. And so got to spend a few days in Wyoming at the Mountain West Trails Conference. And we would like to officially announce to all of you that the Mountain West Trails Conference will be coming to Nevada in 2 years, in 2028. So all the Mountain West states are Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Nevada, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, and New Mexico, although it's open to everybody. West. The attendees walked away with new tools for trail development and maintenance, regional and national contacts for collaboration, and inspiration from communities who are building access and adventure for everybody to enjoy. We also helped to host the Stronger Together event with NVOBC, the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition. Nicole Plangus is right behind me here, and she her and Mandy were the main producers of that event. It's going to be an annual event. It'll be in Reno next year or somewhere up here. So it was really exciting to bring people all into the same room to talk about public lands, improving access and infrastructure for outdoor recreation in Nevada. I spoke about the economic impact analysis. You all have the final version of the mini economic impact analysis, the executive summary. It's about 12 pages. We're really excited and proud of that. So that's for everybody to share far and wide. That can also be found on our website. And that's all the really kind of elevated highlights for outdoor recreation statistics and data across the state. Thank you again to Fred for your participation, UNR's participation in the surveys and for collecting the data for our report. So as Vice President of NVOBC, I'm really proud to say that we had a great team effort. Endor participated, everybody except for Elizabeth, because she was somewhere else, participated at the Stronger Together event. It was just a great collaboration between public and private partners to elevate the importance of public land access, the outdoor economy, and hundreds of thousands to state that make outdoor recreation tick. NVOBC will, like I said, make this an annual event. So we'll toggle back and forth between North and South every year. And feel free to ask Nicole any questions after the meeting if you'd like to know more about the Stronger Together event. We did hire a new grants analyst to replace Kendall, that had been in that position for a few years, that managed the NOAA grant, the Nevada Outdoor Education and Recreation Grant, that is now called the Yogi Grant, the Youth Outdoors Growth Initiative. I always, yeah, that one. Yeah, we changed it so many times in the beginning to make it fit the cool yogi acronym. So we'll nail it here. But we do have updates. Chelsea will talk about those for the grants on the website. So we'll be really excited to introduce this new person. July 6th is when her start date is, and she currently works for the state, so she'll be able to just sync right in with all of us. And we're really excited to get that position filled and have somebody new to share all the great things about youth outdoors. That's all I have.
Elizabeth Johnson, Deputy Administrator for Indoor. So kind of during this time period with the vacancy of the grants and projects analyst to kind of informally the education lead, Kendall, Denise and I have been splitting those duties. So Denise has kind of been heading up the education council stuff, and then I've been managing the grant. So that's been fun to kind of dive back into grant stuff. And so kind of an update on where we're at with the NOR grant. So as a reminder, there's 2 tiers. There's tier 2. So there's larger projects over $7,500, and then the micro grants that are under that threshold. So for the larger grant, we've actually already closed one out. SOS Outreach has completed their grant. That, as a reminder, they're a snow sports mentorship program for ages 8 to 18. And it was focused on Northern Nevada, but they took students to Kirkwood, Mount Rose, Heavenly, North Star, and Diamond Peak. to learn how to ski and snowboard, with, kids their age. A total of 190 students got outside through this program for 4,720 hours. So just this single grant project did that, which is pretty cool. So that was 88 elementary kids, 58 middle, and 44 high school students. And they reached students in Carson, Douglas, Lyon, and Washoe County. Then for micro grants, 4 of those have closed out. So there's the Chill Foundation, which was a no-cost snowboarding lessons for youth development in the Reno area. And then Johnson STEM Academy, which is a charter school down in Las Vegas area. They took kids to Zion National Park on a field trip to give them that experience. Robert Lake Elementary School, which is also down in Las Vegas. They implemented a national archery in schools program for after-school programming for elementary students. And then Sierra Snow Gliders, which is also in the Las Vegas area, and they took kids for ski and snowboard lessons at Lee Canyon. Across all of those microgrant programs, 347 students got outside for a total of 2,594 hours. So that's pretty cool of just, this is just a fraction of this year's grant programs that have closed out already. And I feel like just have already made a really big impact on helping Nevada kids get outside. Next round of reports for both the tiers will be due July 15th. So I'm excited to kind of hear what else the kids have been up to. And then our new grants and projects analyst will tell you guys all about that. Meeting. I look forward to hearing about it. Then I kind of, Denise touched on this. I've been traveling a lot, exclusively for like the month of May. So kind of the, highlights of my bigger trips is there was a big one out to Washington, DC it was a Confluence of States meeting. So as a reminder, the majority of states that have an outdoor rec office, they're members of the Confluence of States. It allows all of them to get together and share ideas and collaborate across state lines to help boost outdoor recreation. So I was there to represent Nevada at that meeting. And then I also attended the Outdoor Recreation Roundtable, known as ORR. They hosted a national executive forum on health and outdoor recreation. So this was actually a pretty cool one-day event where they brought people from the outdoor industry and health professionals together to talk about the importance of outdoor recreation to make us a healthier nation. And I don't know, really like lit a fire underneath me of like how we can do an even better job of connecting with health professionals in our state to kind of work on that collaboration component. So we've already been started having meetings with some health professionals around the state to figure out how we can do that cross collaboration. So then Mountain West Trails Conference out in Rock Springs, I presented along with Utah that we did a presentation on policy that we've been implementing in our states to help kids get outside. So I spoke to the NOR grant as well as a couple of the bills that passed in our last legislative session. So there was AB 501, which allows students to get academic credit for outdoor recreation activities, which is really cool. And a couple of counties, especially I want to say Lyon County, is already started putting together a application, a booklet that then other school districts can use to help implement this. So it's kind of a more of a plug and play, and Lyon County has been acting as the pilot for that. There's also AB 165, which created the Outdoor Education Council. And then AB 104, which was a green schoolyards bill that is under the Department of Education. So those were kind of the different policies I spoke to. And then I actually just got back from Eureka, California. I was at the California Outdoor Economy Summit. So it was a California specific summit, but we were invited to come to speak to what we've been doing in Nevada with our division Outdoor Recreation. So California does not have an office of outdoor recreation. People there had been working to get one created. So I think I was there to talk about how cool we are to kind of help push that forward. So I was on a panel with the director of the California Outdoor Recreation Partnership to kind of speak to, it was their organization that's been trying to get an office of California created. And then I was there to kind of speak to what we've been doing in Nevada, but also kind of how offices can be created to fit the needs of the individual states. So I also spoke to kind of what that looks like in different states. So it doesn't have to be how we're configured in Nevada. We're under DCNR, we're a team of 7, Utah's a team of 60. But in other states, they might be under their Department of Tourism or under economic development, and it might be a single person. So it's really just kind of to fit the needs of the state. So I also spoke to that. So I don't know, a couple of people came up to me afterwards and said, oh, wow, we really need to get one of these in California. So I think I did an okay job, but those are all my updates.
Denise Baronio, for the record. Yeah, that was such an important, I think, collaboration for Elizabeth to go and to talk to kind of groups of people, because NDR's been trying to help California get an outdoor recreation division with also the help of Outdoor Recreation Roundtable. It's been very unsuccessful so far. Their leadership at their Department of Conservation and Natural Resources has been very on board the last year with that. However, there's been some conflict with other departments in the state. That maybe I think there's just a misunderstanding of how well everybody works together once you have a division of outdoor recreation. And I think that when we were originally, when NDR was originally formed, that State Parks was kind of, Nevada Division of State Parks was like, do we need this? Not Jonathan, but I think California is at the same crossroads of, is this competition? And I would say, and hopefully Jonathan would agree, that we are such a good complement. And I think we work more with state parks than any other state division to help promote access and make sure that there's more outdoor recreation for everybody. So I think, to your point, that was really important that you were there to help elevate that. And then also, just for everyone's awareness, when Elizabeth was speaking to AB 501, that creates the curriculum for schools to get elective credits for outdoor recreation. With the help of Lieutenant Governor's Office with Garrett Tamani, we've created curriculum that Lyon County has adopted, and that will be available on NDR's website in the near future, so that if another school district wants to see what happened or how we did it or what we're going to do, they can either adopt that, make it their own, or they can change it to fit the curriculum that they would like for their school district. So it's not one size fits all, but that'll be available on our website in the near future. So that's all I had to say.
And then just a quick add, Elizabeth Johnson, I also used a lot of our economic numbers during that presentation as well, to also kind of speak to, the state parks isn't necessarily positioned to do a statewide outdoor economic study, right? Whereas the creation of our office allowed to be able to, create that data. And so I think that was also kind of a big question. And I also included the, Tahoe area numbers on there to show that cross-state collaboration is really important, because recreation doesn't end at the state line. So even just having outdoor recreation offices to be able to collaborate those efforts across state lines was kind of also a point that I tried to drive home. Hopefully it's sunk in.
Is that it for updates from your?
And we have next, whoever's next.
For the record, Chelsea Kinchlow, Program Officer with the Division of Outdoor Recreation. So my updates are short. So we received that Recreational Trails Program grant for a trails training last fall. And so we are done now. It is completed. It was a marathon sprint all through May and June, but we had a intro to trails training, a crew leadership training. So getting people out on trails, overseeing volunteers or other staff members, and then a trails planning, design, and layout. And we just wrapped up our CPR first aid training last week, and our Sawyer or chainsaw certification happened over the weekend. So it is it is done now. So there's more numbers to come. I'm still finalizing rosters. But I think in total we had 50 people across the board for all 3 trainings, which is really good. We had a lot of high interest and signups. I think our biggest challenge is when you offer something for free, people tend to cancel last minute. So some things just to kind of think about for the future to really keep that engagement high and keep people coming into the attendance. And so a lot of this was all just to increase trail skills for local, state, and federal partners and local nonprofit trail organizations as well. So my goal is to kind of break out and see who from like which entity participated. I've been talking about the Biking on Long Distance Act for a while now. So for those of you who are not familiar with that, that's part of the Explore Act that was passed in January of 25. And the BOLT Act created a coalition through the International Mountain Biking Association. So they worked with other national nonprofits to identify 10 existing long distance trails, which is 80 plus miles or more, and 10 potential. And so Nevada has so much potential that we submitted a kind of mega loop is what I'm calling it. So it's around 650 miles because we have so much potential. So you can either start in like Ely or Caliente, and it's just this really nice stacked figure 8 loop that you can go out and ride. We are meeting on Friday because we are officially recommended to the Interior to be designated in the future. So designation doesn't mean we have to go through like NEPA section 106 or like do any of those bigger tasks. It just means IMBA starts saying, hey, like we went through this whole entire process. Now we have these 10 designated areas and we're happy to promote them. There might be signage opportunities down the line. Now that it's with the Interior, you know, timeline is a little murky, but I think if we just keep talking about it and keep promoting it, we'll kind of move it forward slowly. So it's very exciting. And then I'll talk about dark skies stuff today. And as of yesterday, we now have our 3 grant programs live up on the website. I'm going to share that with you guys real quick. If I can find it went. All right. That's for the presentation. Bear with me just 1 second. All right, here we are. So we now officially have like essentially like a donate page. So I believe Denise talked about this in our ELCO ABOR meeting back in April, but we now have the Youth Outdoors Growth and Innovation, or YOGI grant, which is formerly the NOAR grant, which is now our umbrella. We have the Community Outdoor Recreation and Revitalization grant, and we have Cosmos Across Nevada as well. So you guys all know that the YOGI grant, formerly NOAR, is funded through legislative action. And so the other 2 grant programs are ones that we're working on funding. So if you guys are so inclined to share the good news, we have a donation form on our webpage here, and you can send that out and people can send in checks at this time. We'll eventually work on finding a way to accept payments through the website, but that will be a bit of a process going forward. So if you go up to the top here, you can also hit that donate button and it should go, yeah, to that same page. So that's kind of the end of my updates. And yeah, I'll just be presenting on dark skies here in a bit.
And then just to jump in real quick, Elizabeth Johnson for the record. So with that donation form, people can select specific buckets that they want the funding to go to, or they can just be like, I don't care any of the grants, whatever, leave it up to our discretion. But if they're really passionate about getting kids outside or public infrastructure or dark sky preservation, they can kind of check the box. And then that donation is earmarked specifically for that grant program. It does not go to general operating of the division. That's a separate budget account that money goes into that's just for the grant.
Maybe Barry, for the record, we get this question a lot, but you do get a tax credit if you donate to government, and that's really confusing to people. So you might want to add some of that language, talk to the attorneys and just see what you should say.
Attorney's right there.
Okay. Yeah, because people come to us all the time and they're like, should we give to you or government? Because you're a 501c3, we know we'll get a tax credit. I'm like, well, you could get it from giving to the government as well. So I think just clarifying language on there might help you a lot.
That's great.
All right, Caden Barmore for the record. OHV continues to roll along as we do. Our grant round, our final deadline of our grant round closed about 2 Sundays ago. We had 14 applications with a total ask of $839,000. We had $1 million available, so there is an opportunity to fully fund everything, which would be really cool. This was our first round in NIFS, or the Nevada Infrastructure Financial System. It's the first time we've run the grant program entirely digitally. And there was a couple hiccups here and there, but all in all, it was a pretty good success. So we're very excited for that. And we got a wide variety of project types, which was nice to see. It was a lot of law enforcement, a potential naturalist trail, some environmental assessments and planning, always safety education, and then some stewardship as well. So it's a pretty wide net of projects. And then those have moved forward and will be awarded by the commission at our next public meeting, which will be at the end of July, possibly early August, depending on scheduling. Building off the commission, we also have a new commissioner, Sean Gittleman, who's now our snowmobiles rider representative. This is the first time since I've been in this role that our commission is actually full, so that's very exciting. I'm going to meet with him tomorrow and start some onboarding. And just a couple little things. We are partnering with the Department of Agriculture on getting some information on our website on invasive species and kind of best practices of how to report invasive species when you see them, but also OHV specific of what are some best practices on how to clean your rig, when you should clean your rig, to make sure you're not dragging things across state lines or, from north to south, south to north, whatever. And this is part of a bigger initiative of trying to build out our education section. I think I've said it before, we have an education tab with no education under it. So I'm going to be reaching out to some other organizations to kind of get these quick, just best practices, some general principles, and provide that information to OHV users in and out of state, which is a pretty good thing. And then finally, we've just been out in the community a lot. We participated in the Great Community Cleanup with Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful, helped clean up some BLM land. We are part of the Illegal Dumping Task Force, which is a coalition in Washoe County made up of Keep Truckee Meadows Beautiful, Sparks, Reno, the county, Washoe County, Sheriff, a little bit of everybody to try and kind of come up with a unified response to illegal dumping on specifically BLM land, and kind of how all of our different organizations can work together. And that's been a lot of engaging with OHV groups and users who have these vehicles who can get out to these remote areas and help and clean up some things like that. And then we were also out in Mountain West and Stronger Together, which has already been talked about. And finally, Tyler, the MA1 for the program, got a much deserved promotion. And so we are starting the hiring process again. So we are a mighty team of one right now. That's my update.
Hi, everyone. Yasmina Sakanovich for the record. My update is pretty short, just given all the travel we've been doing. So again, Mountain West Conference, I was able to present on all the work that we've been doing with aggregating the statewide recreation database and recreation assets across the state. Some of the challenges, some of the successes, and how more rural states can more accurately aggregate this data for their gap analysis and process. And we were able to highlight the project down there with creating the brochure map for our rural communities. We had a lot of interest, and I was able to connect with a lot of other states that manage statewide recreation databases. And it seems like we're all in the same boat, which is kind of nice, for better or for worse. We also did attend the Stronger Together conference, where I did talk a little bit more about how that database really is also essential for economic growth. So without knowing where your recreation assets are, how are you supposed to know where your gaps are or where you should be improving those facilities, or maybe investing a little bit more in this community? Those points can also be used as like financial indicators, right? So how much money did you put into this park? Can we put that into another park? In July, I will be presenting to students at the Great Basin Outdoor School Summer Science Camp. So since I am a drone pilot, they did ask to show how are drones used in conservation. So we'll be talking a little bit about, using it for wildfires, using it for mapping, those different types of things, and then also giving these students a little bit of a drone demo. So the age range is 6 to 12. I think all they're really going to want to see is a drone fly in the air. So we'll bring a couple different drones and equipment so that they can kind of see what does that look like. We also wrapped up our collaboration with UNR GIS students, where they were able to deliver several great projects showcasing, how can we improve GIS and recreation, looking at ADA compliance for trails. A lot of our trails don't have ADA information with them, slope basically. And so how can we use different GIS technologies to improve that, or just different sorts of aggregation processes. So a little bit of outreach, mostly the last couple months, and kind of continue on with the database and Nevada Trail Finder. So thanks.
Thank you for the great updates. Does anyone have any comments to make? No.
This is Sherry Davis for the record. I have a couple of questions. So you were talking about the gap analysis. Is that something that we can get for all of our communities? Is that something easily gettable? Available, accessible. There's all sorts of words. I chose the wrong one.
Yeah. So there's several different ways we can view this. When we were doing the SCORP data collection of going down to that city, county, town level of recreation data, I created this dashboard, which I'd be happy to send out, and you can really zoom into your community, see what sort of assets you have, and kind of visualize those gaps. The gap analysis, I think, would really just need to be more community driven.
Okay.
But we can definitely supply the data to help you do that assessment.
Yeah, Elizabeth Johnson from Record, just to add to that. So yeah, we've been partnering with state parks to help them with the SCORP, the state comprehensive outdoor recreation plan that they have to do now every 10 years. And we were discussing of how do we help identify the gaps, because we have this mapping data, but sometimes it takes the community, right? Like we might say, oh, that looks visually like a gap, but does the community feel like that's a gap? Right? Or would they prefer a connection somewhere else? So how do we connect those dots? So in the kind of our most recent planning meetings, we've started trying to figure out how do we kind of connect with the communities, right? And is that setting up a meeting in each county with maps on the wall? Is it having, a point person in the community do that outreach and then they report back? So it's, and we can maybe have an additional conversation if you have ideas about that, because I know we're kind of at that point of trying to figure out how best to get that information of the needs and desires of the community to show up on a map. Does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
So yeah, and however I can help with that, because I'm out there all the time. So when it comes to the community outreach, so one of the please use me for that.
Okay, perfect.
Certainly.
Denise
So-
Baronia for the record. Can you explain why you what your role is at GoEd,
Oh,
so
okay.
that maybe the people better understand why you asked that question?
Yeah, certainly. So I am the rural director, so rural economic and community development, but I also run the Main Street program. So we've got 34 Main Streets now and a whole bunch of other ones that are coming online always. But so I'm out in those communities all the time, and we're always talking about where are the gaps? What do we need? What small businesses do we need? What can support it? What does the community need? All of those pieces that come to building healthy communities, right? And outdoor recreation is such an important piece of that. And so, but I know everybody, I swear, in rural Nevada. So And each community is so different and there's different ways to provide outreach in each individual one. I mean, you all know, anybody who's been in rural Nevada knows how different those communities are. Careful you have to be sometimes to not step in those landmines. But anyway, but happy to help however that looks. So, and then the other, so Sherry Davis still for the record. And then where's the Mountain West Conference? You said 28 here, but where in Nevada, but where is it for 27? You know?
Denise Baronio, for the record, it's every 2 years.
If it's every 2 years, that's why. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, it's, yeah, TBD on location and
Okay.
Elizabeth Johnson for the record. Now that we're kind of done with traveling, it's on our Denise and I's to-do list. And by August, kind of starting to like scout locations. But things that we do look for is that there should be a solid amount of trail infrastructure already existing because it is a trail conference. It needs to be, there needs to be a space that can handle upwards of 500 attendees. And then is there the infrastructure for like hotels, restaurants, that sort of stuff. But we also like to highlight non-major cities. Right? So, we're not calling anybody out, right? So just to kind of highlight these other communities that are in the state. And then typically it happens in the spring. So we might also think about what is the weather doing? Are people going to want to go outside and explore the trails? Because there's a kind of field trip component to this conference where it's typically a day and a half of your kind of more traditional conference style presenters, panels, but then there's a full day of field trips. Where, you know, when Utah hosted it a couple years ago, I went on a really cool one where it was with their state SHPO office, State Historic Preservation Office, where we went to 3 different recreation sites where they talked about considerations of preserving cultural sites with recreation. So one was full on trails, signage interpretation as you're walking through the cultural sites. A second location was like maybe there's a kiosk and people can kind of free range. And then the third site was they don't call it out and they hope that no one knows it's there up the hill from the trail. Right. And so kind of talking, so like that's an example of like a field trip. So yeah.
Any other comments? Amy Berry for the record, I have a couple. Awesome job on the Tahoe Meadows, whatever we're calling safety plan. That is so long. That is going to be transformational because the amount of people that are recreating in that 431 corridor, which is a highway with meadows, is not supposed to. I mean, there are now hot dog stands and ice cream trucks up there in the middle of the winter. It is, and people are grilling out like they're at a tailgate. It's really unsafe. So I know that took a long time. So great job. I just want to call out again the economic impact study. I mean, it's unbelievable to have $24 billion impact just in the state of Nevada. And I think that's a really interesting metric for the division to really keep our eyes on, to say, you know, now it's 24 billion. What can we do to help as an advisory council? How can we help you grow that to even more? Because we know it's not just a dollar, but the larger the impact, the better it is for everyone's health and well-being. So I just want to say that, again, great job on that study, and having those numbers really helpful. I also want to give a shout out to the SOS outreach grant. I think I've told some of you in the past, but this year was my 10th year mentoring with SOS. So I work with those kids, and I can tell you that that is really money very well spent to see the kids get out there, because without SOS, I don't think those kids would ever get to experience what it's like to be sliding on snow. And there's a whole mentorship program. So great job. On the ORR thing, I just wanted to call your attention. If you didn't see, Dr. Clint Prevance was actually there from Barton Health. So they are our newest Nevada hospital. They just moved from the California state line over to Nevada. So if you haven't connected with Barton, I would highly recommend that you start to grow that relationship.
Yeah, so Elizabeth Johnson for the record. So yes, so I visually saw him at that and was trying to track him, but luckily Chris Perkins, who works for OR, then just took it upon himself to do an email introduction to make sure we connected. We've already had one meeting, and then in a couple weeks, we'll actually be going up and be meeting with Clint, and he's going to give us a tour.
Terrific.
Yep.
That is great.
So
Excellent. Awesome. That's all. Okay. Next on the agenda. Agenda item number 8, presentation from Todd Story. I say that right? Okay.
Yep.
He's professor and chair, and I forgot to go over how you say everyone's names. Todd Story is professor and chair in the Natural Resources and Environmental Sciences, College of Ag, Biotechnology, and Natural Resources at UNR. Todd will be discussing the creation of the new OREC management degree within CABNR, the curriculum, and the importance of this workforce development opportunity and joint marketing efforts to promote it. Todd.
Thanks, Amy.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me to talk to you all today about this new undergraduate major that we have and are continuing to develop. Oh, thank you, perfect. Here in the College of Agriculture, Biotechnology, and Natural Resources at UNR. Real quickly, just a little bit about me. As Amy mentioned, I am the chair of the Department of Natural Resources and Environmental Sciences, but I've only been that since January 1. I'm very, very new. But prior to that, I was the Associate Dean of Academic Affairs for the College of Forestry, Wildlife, and Environment at Auburn University. And I'll just mention that because while I was there, we developed not one, but 2 outdoor recreation, actually they were just recreation undergraduate majors. So I've drawn on that experience there to kind of give me some insight into the direction that we're going to take with this new program. Let's see, how do I do this?
Just click right to move it forward. Oh, it worked perfectly earlier.
So now,
You have the slide deck as the active.
Oh,
Standby time.
Yeah, always technical difficulties, right?
Can everybody online see Todd's
There you go.
presentation?
That work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
great.
we can
Thank
see
you.
it.
All right, perfect. So as was already mentioned, the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation has recently released their report on economic impact of outdoor recreation in Nevada. And I'm just going to give you some very brief statistics from that to kind of set the stage for the need for this undergraduate major. As was already mentioned, outdoor recreation represents a $24 billion economy in the state of Nevada. That's a total impact in combined market and non-market benefits. About $9.2 billion of that, according to the report, was spent by visitors on trips and equipment. And one of the things that I found really interesting was more than $10 billion in non-market benefits from the improved physical health and well-being of outdoor recreation. It represents about 75,000 jobs in the state and about 3.3% of the total Nevada GDP. So this is a really important economic sector within the state. It's this says one of the fastest growing sectors, but what the report actually says is that Nevada has one of the fastest growing outdoor recreation economies in the country. I think the number was 12.8%, something like that. And I just want to point out that these are jobs that likely are not going to be replaced by AI. Consequently, there's a real need for training for people to work in this workforce. And that's where this degree comes in. The program was officially launched in 2004. It was originally a specialization within our environmental science degree. So we have 3 degrees in my department, for forestry, wildlife, and then environmental science. And then within environmental science, there are a number of specializations. You can do like air pollution, you can do restoration ecology. And one of them is currently sustainable outdoor recreation management. Now, we haven't gotten a lot of students in it so far. One of the concerns that we've heard is that maybe there are too many science barriers. Because it is a specialization within this existing environmental science degree, students have to take a lot of science. And well, outdoor recreation students aren't always real excited to take chemistry too, or calculus. And so that's been one potential concern. The name, of course, is also another concern. We prefer a name that really emphasized outdoor recreation rather than environmental science. And so we've decided that we need better alignment with demand, both from what students want, but also what the employers want. And so consequently, we're in the process of transitioning to a standalone degree. We've submitted the request to, I think it's headed to the university's upper administration right now. It's been approved by our department. And there's a number of things that we're changing in it. First of all, there's going to be a change in the name. It will just be outdoor recreation management. Second of all, it's going to have a lot of increased flexibility. There'll be more classes to choose from. That's important because it allows students to kind of focus the degree into areas they really want to go. As many of you know, outdoor recreation is a very broad field. It's very interdisciplinary. You might work in business, you might work in marketing, you might work in field, you might work in interp. And so we wanted to increase the flexibility. As I mentioned, we did get rid of some of those science classes, so students no longer have to take chemistry 2, for example. And we're hoping that these changes will help align it better with some of the demand, like I mentioned. But additionally, the hope is that these changes will improve the quality of the degree as well. And finally, it'll hopefully strengthen the workforce pipeline, or that's one of the goals that we want to do with this degree, is to make better connections with employers, agencies, to develop relationships that can really make this degree a solid one. Now, I don't want to walk through the entire curriculum, it's complicated, but I just want to kind of point out some of the important parts about the curriculum. You can kind of lump all of the classes into a few groups, and so I'll point out those groups. If anybody wants to see the curriculum, I am more than happy to send it to anybody. I can give business cards to anybody who wants them. Feel free to reach out to me about anything. The curriculum, of course, has general education classes. These are classes that are required of all UNR students, things like a basic math class, English 1 and 2, things like that. In addition to that, there are still about 29 credits of environmental science classes. These are classes in things like environmental pollution, intro to biology, natural resource ecology. These are intended to give the students a strong foundation in natural history, the sciences, things like that. And there is some flexibility in the exact classes that the students take. The students do take 21 credits in outdoor recreation management. These include classes like Intro to Outdoor Recreation Management. Students have to take a GIS class. Environmental Interp, of course, is a critically important class. Outdoor Recreation Marketing and Profit Centers, Sustainable Recreation Use in Public Lands, and Conservation Biology. I don't have it listed here on the slide, but the students do have to also take an additional communication class. I'd actually like to see more of those. I think people who work in the outdoor recreation field have to do a lot of communication. But the students do have to take at least one communication class. They can choose from 3 right now: small group communication, business and professional speaking, and communication and community engagement. The students do have to take 18 credits of business classes. These include classes in information science, basic economics, 2 courses in accounting, insurance and risk management, and basic marketing as well. Students then take 18 credits in what we call technical electives. And as I'll point out in a minute, there's a whole ton of classes that the students can choose from. These are places where the students can kind of help round out or add some depth to the curriculum. So they can take courses in geography, they can take courses in ecology, natural resources, soils. They can take courses in economics, like environmental economics or resource economics. They can take courses from the Outdoor Adventure Leadership minor. At this point, let me just give a shout out. There is a minor on campus called Outdoor Adventure Leadership. It's run by Andy Roast in the kinesiology department. We're working really closely with him to make sure that the 2 programs work together very well. And I'll talk about that a little bit more as I go. And in addition, the students can take some more business classes in these technical electives. And then finally, the students have about 16 hours of free electives. Now you can see between those restricted electives and the free electives, there's a lot of classes that students can choose from. There's a lot of flexibility. That's actually really important for students like transfer students. And students transfer in from either some other department, maybe they don't like engineering and they want to do something different, or maybe they transfer in from the Truckee Meadows Community College or some other community college. Having that flexibility in the curriculum makes it easier for them to transfer in and still graduate in a timely manner. And that's really important for transfer students. Some other advantages, or what I call strengths, within this existing curriculum, and these are existing strengths in the curriculum as it stands now. There's a lot of experiential learning, especially with our environmental science classes. A lot of them have labs. Students are going to be out in the field, collecting data, handling organisms, looking at things, building things, doing things. And that's a real value in any curriculum, really. One of the things I want to point out is that depending upon the classes that the students take within the technical electives, students can walk away with a minor in business. So if they take 3 business classes as part of their technical electives, which they have to choose 6 classes, then they would get a minor in business. Alternatively, they could get a minor in outdoor adventure leadership if they wanted to. Again, it just depends upon the technical electives that they take. And then finally, I want to point out that while it's not required, there is an internship available for the students that they can take for credit. I personally encourage all students to take an internship, no matter what major they're in within my department. I think it's always a really good idea. There are some things within the curriculum that I would like to change sometime in the future. These are places where I see opportunities to make it even stronger. And like I said, I'm open to hear any other ideas you might have or any comments you might have about these kind of things. So first of all, as I said, all students have to take a class in environmental interp. I would really like it if the students who took that class got certified as a certified interpretive guide from the National Association for Interpretation. Now that has some pretty strict requirements. The class has to be less than 15 students. It has to be taught by somebody who can certify people. That's something that I'd really like to see happen. One of the things that Andy Roast is really pushing is he'd really like students who take the environmental intern class be certified as Nevada naturalists. This is a program kind of similar to the, what's it called, Master Gardeners with Extension. These would be students who have been certified by Extension that they can go out and basically teach people about Nevada's natural world. And certainly I think that would fall in really nicely with this intern class. In addition, an ultimate goal that I would like to see is if this program is accredited by, I have to say it right, COPART, but the Council on Accreditation of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism related professions. One of the things I will point out, though, is that if we wanted this program to be accredited by them, then it would require that all students take an internship of I think it's 500 hours, basically 1 summer's worth. And that can be somewhat problematic. Students don't necessarily like having a required internship, but still that is something that I'd like to pursue. And then finally, I'll just mention it here because it's something that I'm really excited about. When we developed the outdoor recreation management programs at Auburn, we also developed a shooting sports program. And so these were credit classes that any student in the university could take in intro to pistol, intro to rifle, intro to archery. By the time I left, we were teaching 8 sections every semester of each of those classes, and they were always full. Huge demand for these classes. Now, this isn't just a marksman's class. I call it shooting sports, but I really should call it shooting sports, firearm safety, and hunter's education. It's really meant to teach students all there is to know about firearms, firearm safety, firearm storage, that kind of thing. And it's something that I'd really like to develop here at UNR. I think there'd be a real demand for it. I think students would like it. And if students, even if they aren't in the outdoor recreation program, I think that they would probably take it. One of the ways that we do the program that makes it easier is for the first 14 weeks of class, we actually just use air rifle, air pistol. It's a lot cheaper than using regular ammunition. It's a lot safer. It's a lot easier to do. And that makes it easier. Obviously, there's a number of career opportunities for these students. They could be interpretive guides or field guides, environmental educators, park managers, camp directors, recreation program managers, park rangers. The whole point of the program is we want to be able to train students that they could get out of this program and do just about anything in the recreation field. And so with that in mind, we're trying to train them very broad. Similarly, there are any number of employers could hire these students from public agencies, private business, even nonprofits. So what do we need? And this is where I'm going to make an ask of the council here. First of all, I need feedback. Any ideas, thoughts you have on improving the curriculum, where it's weak, where it could be strengthened, about anything else I've talked about here today, I'd love to hear it. We do need help promoting the program. And when I say promotion, I mean promotion to potential students. One of the things that I'm constantly dealing with is anytime a student transitions into one of our majors, even some of our most popular majors like wildlife, we ask them, why didn't you start in this major in the beginning? And they always say, well, I just didn't know it existed. Classic problem. You ask a high school student what they want to be when they grow up, they all say one of five things, right? Engineer, business, doctor. A lot of them say, I want to work with the environment. We don't always know what that means, but those are our bread and butter. Certainly, I'm interested in anybody that has information on internship opportunities. We want to develop a nice cadre, a whole inventory, if you will, of interns that our students could take advantage of. If you need interns, I want to hear from you. Similarly, if you have opportunities for employment, we want to start developing those employment connections so that when our students finish their degree, we already have developed those relationships where, you say, hey, I need somebody to work for us. All right, we've got your people. And then finally, program advocacy. So any program like this needs supporters. And so I would hope that everybody in this room would be a supporter of this, but certainly anything you can do when you're meeting with people of importance to advocate for this program, we would appreciate it. And with that, I'll take any questions or comments.
Chair, I have some questions. Hey, thank you so much. My name is Vincent Guthrie. I serve as the Director of Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Thank you for the presentation. I don't know if I missed it. Was there any discussion or are there any future plans to maybe have sort of a youth education component or any classes around that end? I think that would get at our mission of connecting youth to the outdoors, especially urban youth. Just curious.
Sure. Yeah, that's not something that traditionally the faculty in my department do. We tend to focus strictly on the college age students. But of course, extension is within the College of Agricultural Biotechnology and Natural Resources. And so I'd be happy to work with our extension office to extend some of the stuff we're doing to the youth. Certainly, for example, I didn't mention, but the shooting sports program is based upon the 4-H shooting sports program. It would be taught by 4-H instructors. And so we're certainly open to that.
Yeah, and maybe more too along the lines of having the students learn about sort of how to teach to kids. That's sort of where I was going with that. But yeah, that all makes sense. Yeah, and I, in my prior role, we did a lot with cooperative extension, but I was just curious on that end. So thank you very much.
It's something I hadn't thought about, but certainly.
Elizabeth Johnson for the record, just to add to Vince's point, through the Education Council, we are working with the Department of Ed, and part of the council's duty is creating a outdoor educator or Teacher of the Year award, as well as outdoor school designation. And so then they're kind of trying to figure out resources on how to prepare teachers to teach, in the outdoor space or about the outdoor world or that sort of stuff that tie in. So that, maybe a potential connection there as well of having an elective that, or even people who want to be teachers. And then there's that crossover.
Yeah, I will mention that Cabner has a degree in, I forget exactly what it's called. It's like Natural Resource Education Nevada Teaches, where students may get a major in environmental science or some other degree within Cabner, but they also become certified teachers within the state of Nevada. So there is a program specifically for that. But another thing I'll mention, at Auburn, we did have classes specifically in environmental education. I don't see that on the list of classes we have here, but that'd be something that I'd want to add, and that would speak directly to some of the stuff here.
Greg Jewell, I don't know if is this program going on now or is this planned?
It does already exist as the specialization within environmental science, and we're just currently also revamping.
So how many kids did you graduate last year, roughly?
I don't think we graduated any. It's only been around since 2004 or 2024. And so I don't think there's anybody far enough along, but I don't even know how many are actually in the program right now.
Do you have a sense, do these folks, they go on to grad school? Do they go straight into employment?
From my experience at Auburn University, which is the only one I can really speak on, it's a mix. Some of them certainly do go on to graduate school. A lot of them go straight into employment.
Their experience in Auburn, did they stay locally? Think they stay in the state or they tend to go?
They tend to go all over. A lot of the students that we graduated Auburn in all of the fields oftentimes wanted to move west. Alabama is not a hot spot for outdoor recreation, I guess.
Sheva has.
Oh,
Sheva?
Hi there. Sorry, I was late today. Was working on a wildfire funding request with the
What
state
what
forester.
season are you in?
I'm in Christmas for the rest of the year because that's how much work that project was, Vince. So I'm keeping my Christmas tree background till
Okay.
I don't know, maybe Christmas. Let's see. So, Todd, I think it might be a good thing to connect you with our forest leadership team for the Humboldt-Toyabe National Forest and our partners up at Lake Tahoe to talk about internship possibilities and cross promotion as much as possible. We do have internships with the university for some other programs, so I think there's potential there. It might take some time to build out, and I'm not sure, did you mention whether they're paid or unpaid usually?
Yeah, it can go either way.
Okay, yeah, let's talk, and maybe the best thing to do would be for me to set up a time for you to present to the forest and collaborate on some opportunities. Really exciting
Yeah.
stuff. Great. Thank you.
Jonathan Bridges for the record. To answer, if I can just share real quick. So I started off as a park aide with Nevada State Parks, moved across country. I was on a totally different career path, and Southern Utah University opened an outdoor recreation program. And I moved back for that position, was hired as a park supervisor right out of college, and here I am today.
I mean, that might essentially great farmable resources for the state.
It is, and so it's well overdue for Nevada. So I appreciate the program. I think it's great. I think Nevada State Parks can help with all of this and give you feedback. And I'm going to compete with Shava a little bit. We can have some intern opportunities, and we can provide a segue for the youth curriculum and help get them into a career path and through the program. So we're happy to do that. We're already doing it with Southern Utah University over in Lincoln County, doing one internships, but also their intro class requires a 10-hour practicum. And so we're having those students come over for 10 hours and ride along with our staff and participate in things. So great program, and happy to help any way we can.
Right. Yeah. And Parks hires about what, 190 seasonal, how many?
Yeah, about 150 seasonals a year.
So that'd be some on the ground.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did my internship by being a seasonal park aide over in Lincoln County. And so, but it's a paid opportunity. We also have a gift shop program that we can pay for educational components, and we've done internships through that as well. So maybe it could be used as a match, or just pay for some positions to help students out.
That'd be great. Todd, sorry for the record. So, whether a student does an internship for credit or not, we encourage all of our students to do summer employment within their field. They don't have to do an internship. It's part of the reason that it's not required. What we don't want is students who, work at McDonald's on the summer. That just doesn't happen.
Sure. Jonathan Brench for the record. And I appreciate your component of the experiential education, because when I interviewed right out of college, I was able to use actual experiences that I had in my classes for my experience, and I give full credit. That's how I got the job. So, so that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, Aaron Keller, Department of Wildlife. Todd, thanks for your presentation. Very excited. I'm a Cabner grad as well, so I would have loved to have taken some of these classes when I was there. But excited to see the shooting sports and that in there. I think it's very valuable for those kids to learn that in a bunch of different ways. But and then we also have seasonal opportunities in the summer, and we teach tens of thousands of students about wildlife and conservation through the year. So anything we can do to help or crossover, we'd love to partner. Appreciate that.
Denise Bruin. Oh, go ahead, Tammy.
Oh, I was just gonna say, Tammy Boyd for the record. Of course, I can't speak for Miles, but BLM would love to work with you on this as well.
Great.
And I will be asking you for your card after the meeting. Set up the meeting. Thank you.
Denise Bronio for the record. And Endor has been working with UNR for almost 3 years to help develop this program that, just as a reminder, used to be at Sierra Nevada College. They had the Outdoor Adventure Leadership program under environmental science up there. And when UNR merged with Sierra Nevada College, they were going to get rid of that program completely. And we helped divert that to just the minor that now exists with Andy for the Outdoor Adventure Leadership minor. But this is so exciting because we were the only state in all of the surrounding states that does not have an outdoor recreation degree. And kids do go, to Jonathan's point, go to college, they go to Colorado, they go to Oregon, they go to Idaho, they get their degree and they find, the love of their life and they stay there. And that's where they end up, working and living. So we were seeing all these workforce opportunities leave the state. So we're really excited to help support UNR through this process. We are in stage 2 of 3 in the appropriation requests through Senator Cortez Masto's and Rosen's office. And I know they're on the line. I saw Cameron, maybe she's still on there. But, we are hoping that we can assist the university with that appropriation. We asked for $2.3 million to help boost the program. So TBD on the timeline for that. I know that that's probably going to be a fall update to share with you guys as to whether or not that appropriation is going to be received for UNR, and/or will be the pass through for that, the appropriation if that's awarded. So that's pretty exciting. And then I was going to say, you're going to get cards from everybody in this room because there's just so much overlap and crossover and opportunity. And you were talking about promoting and getting kids from junior colleges. Feather River College is one that I've been communicating with in Quincy, California. They're already on board to help have some sort of transitional opportunity for kids from FRC to come to UNR. It's closer than Oregon. That's mostly they're either going to Oregon or Humboldt or Cal Poly. So they would love to have the opportunity to work directly with us and connect you with the head of that program. But it's only an hour from here to Quincy, as opposed to people going up to Oregon or down to Southern California, wherever. So I just think there's so much opportunity. This program is going to be amazing. I'm really excited to help you guys promote it. And then I'm going to put Yasmina on the spot because she is currently earning her master's in
Yasmina, for the record, I'm attending an online Oregon State University, the Masters of Natural Resources Management with an emphasis in GIS and outdoor recreation.
And why are you doing that in Oregon?
UNR didn't have that within their program, and the natural resources was really focused on like a lot of ecology in Tahoe, which is great, but I really wanted that outdoor recreation focus and land management focus.
Yeah. So again, Denise Baronio, for the record, sorry to put you on the spot, but I thought it was just such a great internal example within our own team that we didn't even have university didn't have an opportunity for her to get her master's degree, but now we at least have the bachelor's. So we're really excited. Were you gonna?
Yeah, Elizabeth Johnson, and she's actually the second Endor employee that has gone up to Oregon to get their master's degree in outdoor recreation. So it's.
If I can just comment on that. So when the program, Todd, sorry for the record, when this first starts out, obviously one of the things that we've got to figure out is how to pay the faculty members to teach the classes. Now, obviously, if we can get appropriations, that's huge. But the plan right now is for us to teach it basically through what we call our extended studies program, where the tuition from the classes comes directly to the college, and that pays basically for the faculty member. And so we hire temporary faculty to teach these classes until it gets big enough to the point where we can go to the university and say, we're teaching these classes regularly, we need a dedicated faculty member. And that is our ultimate goal, is to get dedicated faculty to teach these classes. Because while we only at this point have this bachelor's degree, if we can get dedicated faculty, that means that we can offer graduate degrees, because the existing graduate degrees that we offer can be tailored to these specific expertise. We can do a master's in natural resources in outdoor recreation. The problem is that we don't have any faculty in outdoor recreation to supervise somebody who wants to get that experience. So that would be the ultimate goal, is once we have dedicated faculty who are teaching these classes on a regular basis and doing research in outdoor recreation, they can also supervise graduate students, and then we might be able to offer opportunities for people who want to get master's degrees.
Elizabeth Johnson for the record, to help promote the program, do you guys already have kind of some promotional materials? So like flyers, social media, like that sort of stuff, so that just for anybody in the group that wants to help spread awareness, that it's kind of a little bit more plug and play?
We do have the kind of the little bulletins, the cards that we have for all majors that currently say environmental science specialization in sustainable outdoor recreation management. We can't generate the new cards until the outdoor recreation management program has been approved by the university and by NSHE. But we do have some cards for the existing program.
Denise Baronio for the record. Is there anything that everyone in this room can do to encourage UNR to approve the program?
I mean, certainly if you know anybody at NSHE or UNR that you can just kind of drop a little push to them. Hey, you should approve this program. I think it's going to be valuable.
Thanks.
We see no reason why it won't be approved. It's just a matter of time and working its way through the process.
Tammy Boyd, for the record, do you have an estimated timeline for the approval process?
We think that students will be able to enroll in the new degrees starting in the spring. That's our goal.
Thank you, Tom.
One more question. Todd, I wrote down 80 classes at Auburn, but was it 8? How many classes did you teach at Auburn?
That's Aaron.
Oh, Aaron Keller, Department of Wildlife, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
During
Sorry.
your presentations. It was the shooting
What
sports
was the
stuff.
So we were teaching 8 sections of intro to pistol, intro to rifle. We had 1 section of intro to archery. Each section had 16 students in it. And each class had a wait list of 16 students that was always full as well.
Right.
So, and that was every semester. We also wanted to do intro to rifle, or sorry, intro to shotgun, but we weren't at that point yet. That's a harder class. Our substantial infrastructure and logistics. Yeah, that was on the front.
Denise Baronio for the record. There is an international high school shotgun. It's a good club. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Annie is the gal that is in charge of that. We've been talking to her for a couple of years now. I'm sure I could connect you with her to see how there could be some like maybe transitional opportunity to help with any kind of curriculum or just getting kids to congregate to Nevada.
That would be great. Todd Stewart, for the record, one of the things that I want to emphasize with these shooting sports classes is that they're different from, there's a lot of universities that have shooting sports clubs, but those are for students who want to get out and be marksmen and learn how to get really proficient in firearms. These classes are intended to be for students who maybe never intend to own a gun. Maybe they just want to learn about firearm safety. There are so many firearms in the United States. There's real value in every student understanding how they work, how to be safe with them. That's kind of the intention of this class.
All right, great. Thank you so much for that presentation. Really exciting. Thanks. Okay, we're on to agenda number 9, item number 9, presentation from Chelsea for discussion. Chelsea's a program officer 3 with the Nevada Division of Outdoor Recreation and will be presenting on the Nevada Starry Skies certification and the importance of preserving Nevada's dark skies and current advocate efforts in the state of Nevada.
You need someone to run the show for you.
No. I was gonna get the clicker.
Yeah. Here you go.
I'll make you guys want to look forward. For the record, Chelsea Kinchlow. Everyone online can see the presentation, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm here. I know we talk a lot about dark skies, but I'm here to actually kind of walk you through the program and all of our current efforts that we're doing at the state level for the preservation of our amazing night skies. So
As the PowerPoint play that on your computer.
yes, thank you. All right. So yeah, we are here because we have a disappearing resource and it's quickly vanishing. So we know that 80% of the world experiences artificial light at night. So those are like those pesky lights when you're out walking down the street or your neighbor's bright light just shining right in your face while you're trying to sleep. We know that light pollution impacts human health and wildlife. Thanks to UNR, they have done a study that found sparrow checks in Reno sparks in high density lighting are lighter in color and have reduced survival rates. So that's a really intense read because of the amount of like research that they've done on this already. We also know that the night sky is disappearing at a rate of 10% every year. So show of hands, how many of you can walk out your backyard and see the Milky Way at night? All right, that's pretty good. For those of us who live in more urban centers, obviously we go outside and we look at the night sky and we can see stars, right? But it's not that clear Milky Way that we were once able to see so easily. So the good news is that we are really working on preserving our resources. So Dark Sky International was founded in 1987, so they've been at this game for a really long time. And thanks to their designation programs, we're seeing a lot more interest, not only here in the States, but also internationally to start reducing our overlighting issues. So here in Nevada, we have 3 designations. We have Massacre Rim, very hard to get to, but would still encourage everyone to get up there if you can. Death Valley National Park, they have a Dark Skies Festival every year, as well as Great Basin National Park. So that's coming up in September. So if you guys want to see and observe amazing dark skies, I know they're a bit of a haul for those of you who are here in Northern Nevada, but they do such an amazing job with both of those festivals and get a lot of people from not only Nevada, but across the nation and even across the world to come for those festivals. We also have Red Rocks Conservation Area, Avikumwe, Spring Valley State Park, and Boulder City currently pursuing Dark Sky International certification. So we're starting to see more of this undercurrent of these areas wanting to pursue certification for promotional efforts, which is really cool. And I also give a shout out to our amazing Save Starry Skies license plate. I think I've seen 10 of them this week. They are everywhere at this point. So I think Friends of Nevada Wilderness, they're the ones who went through the effort to get this all through. They said they have over 6,000 registrations at this time. And you only need 1,000 to maintain the license plate. And I talked to someone the other day and I was like, well, why'd you get the license plate? They're like, it's the coolest one up there. And I was like, okay, great. Do you know what it's benefiting? They don't, but that's fine. We'll work on the education and outreach component for that one. But it's just exciting to see that that is becoming such like a popular license plate. And Jonathan Baraney, who's a professor down at UNLV in Southern Nevada, designed this. And he has 2 children. And I think this is what he's hoping for his future with his kids. So I have been overseeing the Nevada Starry Sky certification program for a little over 2 years now. And during that time, it was passed in 2021. And originally the language was that when you received your Dark Sky International designation, you would get state certification, which I didn't really know what to do quite with that. So I kind of started being like, all right, well, how can I make this more at a local level where we can start working directly with specific entities to get a certification? And then I was also kind of like, but what else do I need as well? Like, where are we at in terms of people being aware of the hazards of light pollution, right? So I put 3 up here. I think there's more, but education, advocacy, and outreach. It did just read at one point, education, education, education. But I changed it to these 3. And obviously we're gonna need funding at some point. So that's also like a 4th one, but these were the kind of like the first 3 that I thought of when putting this together. So as I said, founded in 2021 through SB 52. So if you guys get a chance, please go read that Senate bill. So in 2024, I went through the process to update the Nevada Administration Code, which means I just held a lot of public meetings to update the language to just say, like, we are now on a mission to promote, preserve, protect, and enhance Nevada's dark sky resources. So we switched it from needing an entity to get a dark sky designation, then you get state, to now we're going to figure out how to do this more with specific entities within the state of Nevada. So these were the ones that I ended up kind of choosing. So unincorporated communities, municipalities, homeowners associations, tribal governments, parks, open spaces, businesses, and schools of public and private K through 12 schools and higher education schools or programs. UNR, we could talk about dark skies, lighting retrofits here on your campus and getting this certification.
There is a planetarium.
There is a planetarium up the street. That is very true. And just to kind of give you guys an idea of some of the outreach I've been working on, and especially for like businesses, because I think that's such like a unique market. I have a bunch of these rack cards that I had printed out, and eventually when my schedule lightens up a little bit, I plan on sending these to a lot of different businesses across the state of Nevada. So I have 250 printed out, plan on sending 250 out, and hopefully we can get some more engagement. And it's just to get even like small businesses, bigger businesses, corporations to start thinking about how their lighting around their area is like being broadcasted, or what they can do to help kind of turn down the lights of that individual site. So, like I said, working at community level to control the lighting of a site, which doesn't always sound super positive, but essentially we are just trying to reduce the overall light pollution of a site. And there's 5 principles that we'll talk about, and those are kind of what we are looking to implement. So this is similar to Dark Sky International requirements. So you have to create a lighting management plan, an internal lighting policy, or lighting ordinance. So to give you guys an example, Spring Valley State Park recently put in for their International Dark Sky designation. State parks as a whole had to come up with an internal lighting policy to provide to Dark Sky International to say, these are now the regulations that we will be abiding by to ensure that all lighting at this site will remain dark sky compliant. Harump, you guys have a dark sky ordinance. And like when I first started this journey, I was like, who has a dark sky ordinance? And Harump was like, we do. And that was very surprising for a rural community, but also not, because you guys understand the value of your night skies out in Harump. And so just kind of like thinking about the specific location and what you can be doing to implement proper lighting protocols. So there's a lot up here, because ultimately what you're doing is you are, yeah, it's right here. Because ultimately what you're doing is you're going around and you're looking at each of your lamps and you're inventorying them, okay? I just did this with Gerlach back in March. I went up and I inventoried the entire town's lights, only the public facing ones. I wasn't going up to people's residential homes and being like, it's a bad lighting system you've got going on here. So it is and can be time intensive. I also, for example, did a lighting inventory with Carson City Parks Rec and Open Space out at their Prison Hill recreation area. They have 20 lights, right? That's pretty easy. Most of them don't work because they're these old ranch lights that they no longer have plugged in. So it just depends on the location of the site, like how time intensive this is going to be. And then you can also create lighting zones. So really thinking about, does this spot actually need light? If it doesn't, take away that lighting. If it needs lighting, then let's talk about like those 5 principles that I'm going to get to. Before I do that, so with all of this, trails are my background, dark skies are not, but it's been a really amazing learning journey for 2 years. But I also need support because it still isn't quite my background. So Dark Sky International allows states to form something called chapters, and it's just an umbrella organization within the state where people who are interested in dark skies can reach out for resources, information, all of that, and we get support from Dark Sky International as well. So we now have co-leads for this chapter. We are not an official chapter yet. We'll hear in August, tentatively, whether or not we have become an actual chapter. But kind of the goals of that is to help any entity that's interested in Dark Sky International designation or the Nevada Starry Sky certification, kind of help them through that process. We also can kind of say like the state certification is a stepping stone to that bigger designation. We're a big focus on public outreach, including or hosting, supporting events on the importance of dark skies and the economic benefits of astrotourism, education about artificial light, and then also trying to find who are our advocates across the state and getting them more involved and figuring out ways to get more information out there about the our pristine night skies, and then also the hazards of light pollution, and just continue with that advocacy work. Okay, so our 5 principles for outdoor lighting, it's actually pretty straightforward. So you want it to be useful, targeted, low level, controlled, and warm colored. So there already is an established industry within the lighting industry for dark sky compliant lighting. And so you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and find anything that might be like dark sky compliant based on like specs. You can also go to Dark Sky International's website, and they have a whole host of contractors or businesses that they work with that all sell dark sky compliant lighting. Okay. So another really fun thing we're working on right now is through Friends of Nevada Wilderness. They bought us a bunch of handheld devices called sky quality meters. So I brought some toys for you guys to play with, if you guys so desire. So these are little handheld devices that are relatively inexpensive. They're $138 to $155. They're easy to use, and you can do ongoing, like quick measurements of the night sky. Okay, they're measured in something called astronomer units. I don't know what that is still. But essentially what it does is it gives me a scale of like 16 to 23, and 23 being like your night sky is devoid completely of light pollution. 16 being like there's a light bulb right ahead of, like right above you. So these are just fun devices that I'm trying to do more like citizen science work with. So get them out to groups who are interested. So like Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, Boys and Girls Club, like anyone who's really interested in just doing kind of like quick data points across the state. Travel Nevada has done a really great job at promoting our amazing night skies. We just need more data now to better understand what the quality is. And I'm also curious to know, like kind of in our urban areas, what we're looking at for data points as well. So if you guys are feeling ambitious and go out and want to buy one of these, also if you point it up at the lamps right now, you get like a score of 7. So yeah. So you can also go to Globe at Night, which I have pulled up. So this is an app, and bear with me while I stop sharing and reshare this guy. Okay, so you can upload your data points into Globe at Night, which is a citizen science-based data collection. And fortunately, someone took a point at UNR. So if we were to click on this, so what it does is it's anyone who can upload data, and you can take a like SQM reading and you put it in, and what it does is it converts it to limiting magnitudes. Okay. So I looked up how to describe limiting magnitudes a bunch. It's very confusing still, but essentially it's the brightest star you can see with the naked eye. So this has like a scale of 2. It usually means it's a very bright star in the sky that usually you can see in urban settings, but everything else is kind of diminished around it. So it'll give you kind of that, and you can look at data points quite literally from just across the world. So Nevada is actually doing pretty good. Northern Nevada in particular. So there's the United States, and across the world, lots of bubbles. So Global Night is pretty fun to play with, and you can check that out anytime. Okay, now we're gonna go back to the presentation. All right, and if you're interested in learning more about how to take sky quality meters, I put a QR code there for you guys to scan. All right. So this is essentially what a data sheet looks like, just to give you guys a little bit more information. So if you were actually taking data points of a site, you do a total of, it says up there 5, but you do an initial throwaway. You got to get the meter to kind of measure correctly with the night sky. So when you are out and getting ready to do these, you have to make sure it's a new moon. There's no clouds in the sky, and the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon. And I don't know how to do that with my naked eye, so I pull up timeanddate.com and it tells me when astronomical twilight occurs, which is when the sun is 18 degrees below the horizon. So you have about 20 minutes to run around and take as many data points as you possibly can. Because then once you're outside of astronomical twilight, it kind of like the data points are no longer usable. So then you take a total of 5, you note weather, moon visibility, all of that, and then you take the median and find that, and that'll tell you like the indication of the quality of your night sky. So again, 23 being like those pristine, devoid of light pollution night skies. Friends of Nevada Wilderness also has been using the license plate funding to help us print our amazing toolkit. So if you guys haven't checked out our toolkits, we did this with Travel Nevada a year ago, and now we have about 250 printed copies still in a box in my office because I am working on sending them out to get people even more excited about our night skies. So hopefully like Chambers of Commerce, Main Street programs, Sherry, I'll be contacting you shortly once I get ready to send this all out. And then obviously our elected officials too, just to kind of like really showcase the importance of our night skies. So we'll have those out and get those to the correct hands and hopefully get people really inspired and excited about our night skies. It's also on our website if you guys want to check it out. It's very beautifully done. And again, thanks to Travel Nevada. I've been doing as much outreach as possible. So just getting out and engaging with the general public and talking about the certification program, and then also just about the hazards of light pollution and ways that they can be effective advocates. And that can start with as simple as doing like a lighting home analysis for your lights, right? So Dark Sky International allows you to get a certificate once you print off a form and then you go through all of the lights that you have on your exterior, and then they're like, congrats, you did it. Here's a certificate. Thank you, right? So that's just a great way for people to begin their advocacy steps. And then we are bringing back Cosmos in the Desert this year. So it's going to be out at Lahontan State Recreation Area. We're doing 2 nights this year. So we're doing both the 14th and the 15th. Jonathan's excited, I know.
I went last year.
I know, it was great. So the 14th, we're doing 2 days because the night sky is fickle. The night sky can just be super cloudy and moody, and then you're just like, well, thanks everyone for coming out. Here's some clouds. So we're hoping to have at least we're hoping that both nights are clear and pristine. But the 14th, we're going to do 8 to 11 p.m. out at Lahontan State Recreation Area and have kind of like our normal programming. So Travel Nevada will be out with their VR headsets again this year. Department of Wildlife will be out doing wildlife talks. We are still looking for an Indigenous representative to come out and do storytelling. So I have contacted Stacy M, but also looking for any other assistance if you guys have any contacts. And then we will also be on Saturday having programming from 4 to 8 p.m., but we're moving it into Silver Springs, the local community that is right next to Lahontan. So we'll be at the Senior Center and we'll be doing dark sky presentations, trivia, arts and crafts, and we're also trying to see if we can get some intern programs down at Fort Churchill or at Lahontan. We'll also probably put the sun solar, ask the astronomer groups to put the sun solar scopes out during the daytime for people to, go look through. And then we'll go back into that normal programming from 8 to 11 p.m. that night. We're also looking for artists to come out and sell any of their dark skies themed art. We have hopefully musicians that we're going to bring out to play. It's not going to be anything too loud. It's going to be pretty acoustic based guitars or banjos, something along those lines. So we're really looking to just expand this and make it like an actual dark skies festival. And then eventually our goal is to take it down to Valley of Fire and Stamp Repeat and kind of build from there. And all of this is just to show that Lahontan has great dark skies, which it does. And then also just to showcase that within like an urban area, even though I know like there's not a whole lot of light pollution out there, there's still like some, but we can still have great night skies and still see the Milky Way out there as well. I think I covered everything for Cosmos in the Desert. Come on out. Let's put it in your calendars. We'd love to have you guys out. Yeah.
Good job, Chelsea.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions, comments?
I do. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, you go first.
Oh, Sherry Davis, the record. I always have questions. So when you were listing the ones that were eligible to apply, I didn't see nonprofits on there. Would like a Main Street organization be able to do that?
I have not thought about that. Because Main Street, I guess, was kind of more incorporated into like the businesses category, but we could talk about, ways to facilitate that through that. Yeah.
Yeah, because so much of them, they work on the end, but they're broad-based community organizations too, right? So, okay. And then, what was my other question? Oh, do you have contacts at the Arts Council or anybody that you want me to connect you to as far as that looking for artists?
Yes,
Oh,
please.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah, because I reached out to the Brewery Arts Center in Carson because they have like an active arts and culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
Ren Frick she's the
Okay.
community outreach up here. So
Perfect.
I don't know, but so between Ren and Brooks and you'll definitely get somebody to help.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you, Sherry.
Amy Berry, anyone else? Amy Berry, for the record, great job on all of this. This is probably not going to be the most popular question or conversation, but it's so is me. It strikes me that you have a very small team trying to do an awful lot. And when I look at the economic impact report and I think about the $24 billion economy that we want to grow, I have a thought in my head, which is really just like, is the juice worth the squeeze for the amount of effort that you're putting into this to really have an impact on the economic? Are we going to see, for the amount of effort you're putting in, are you going to see growth and economic impact in the communities? And are you able to measure that so that you can say, yes, this is worth our time and attention?
Yes, that is a very good question.
I can answer.
Oh, yeah. So
Denise Baronio, for the record, that was one of the 2 points I had. One was that Sherry and Chelsea need to have lots of conversations about Main Street, but I was also going to say the Arts Council, so I'm glad you mentioned that, just for more connectivity, collaboration efforts. One thing that Chelsea didn't really touch on because it wasn't part of the programming is the astrotourism piece of it, and how much Endor has been promoting astrotourism with Travel Nevada across the state. So yes, the juice is worth the squeeze.
Okay, good.
We have a team big enough to do it. We're trying. We do the best we can with what we have, but it is in the report that we did with Fred, and we talked a lot about astrotourism. It is a big push that we have for our state because I do think that it is such an amazing opportunity for gateway communities and for small rural communities to have as part of their niche and outdoor recreation, but also most of the rural communities are dark. So why wouldn't we have some sort of, we have Park to Park in the Dark, which is the connector from
Death Valley
to Great Basin National Park. And why can't we have that like a loop around the state that promotes astrotourism in all these small little towns? But also we do have darkest skies in the lower 48 states. We have to bank on it. How we're going to achieve that is a big task, but it is part of our NRS for our division that we preserve, that, we are the advocate for
written
the,
into
it's, and it's written in it. It's
The designation program.
the designation program, for preservation, and it says preservation of dark skies.
Okay.
So, I don't know, we're just gonna just keep asking for more staff.
Yeah, I mean, I would just ask that you find the metrics so that you know that it's worth it, because I think sometimes it's really easy to get into the trap of outputs versus outcomes, right? So you can say, we're doing all this stuff, but like, are you doing all this stuff and you're actually seeing an outcome that's worth doing all of that stuff?
Denise Baronio, for the record, I would say that we have some small communities that in Lyon County and Douglas County around who are actually creating these designations as a tourist draw.
Okay.
So there, is it, I don't know, Boulder City is such a great example, and Elizabeth can speak to this more since she manages the grant for the retrofitted lighting for that entire community in Boulder City. But Boulder City got the grant to retrofit all of their lights to downward facing so that they can be dark sky communities. So working with communities for things like that, I mean, that's kind of what Chelsea's goal is with this, is to create opportunities for communities to be dark sky designation or just a dark sky community. Lyon County has the same ordinance that Pahrump does for anything going forward. I think they adopted it like 4 or 5 years ago, that anything that's already in existence is grandfathered. Any new development in Lyon County going forward has to have retrofitted lights. So just trying to help communities work towards that goal. So I understand what you're saying, and yes, it is a big lift, but we're up for the task, and I'm really passionate about the dark skies. I know, a 1/100th, 1/1,000,000th, probably what Chelsea knows, but I think it's such a great opportunity. Travel Nevada is really pushing it. It's such a great opportunity to have a unique tourism space in our state that really is hard for other states to have.
Yep. And just to add to that, Elizabeth Johnson, for the record. So I was a program officer before Chelsea, and I was the first one in the role. And this bill that gave us this Starry Skies designation program had just gotten passed, and they were like, here. And I was like, what do I do with this? And I must admit, I did not do a lot with it. I had barely dipped a toe in the water. And then luckily we hired Chelsea, and Chelsea has completely dove in headfirst into this and turned it into an amazing program. And I think that kind of, to add on what Denise was saying, that dark skies is a naturally occurring asset that we have in the state that requires very little additional cost to add as a tourism opportunity. So there's kind of that piece going towards it. But then there is that preservation and conservation piece of it. We're not just 100% economic driven. So, I mean, if you want to speak to maybe the proclamations that happened, that that before it was just 1 and now it was 7, and then maybe even specifically note Genoa.
Amy Berry, for the record, I didn't mean to.
Yeah.
I think we're running out of time, so we don't need to hear all the proclamations.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just wanted to raise that as a, and as you're thinking through, it's great to do all of this work, but there has to be a way to measure that it's worth it, that it's working. So that's
For the record, Chelsea can show. And your concern has been voiced before. So when we went to go change the NAC, I had to go in front of the LCB committee. And there was, I forget who the individual was now, but she was also like, this seems like a really big lift, you're one person. And I was like, yes, I am. But that's also why we're pursuing this chapter status, is because we have advocates in the state, and because we can branch out and form committees on astrodourism, help people be guided through that process of getting, excited about, simple steps as setting up a telescope and looking at the night sky and bringing people out. I think the more we get people on board, we'll see a lot more output.
great. Thank you. And Amy Berry, you're doing an amazing job. I was not questioning that at all. I just making sure all of your wonderful effort and energy is going to be. So, okay.
Elizabeth Johnson.
Don't know if we can call on you.
Oh.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I think that will be part of us, right? I think it's always gonna be an initial very heavy lift, getting something off the ground. And then now that things are kind of starting, awareness is out there, things are moving along. So then it might be tweak time, where we look at okay, maybe Chelsea, you step back on providing this service and kind of just be there more as a resource for other resources. So then your actual time can be put towards other things, sort of thing. So I think we're starting to get into that phase of it, of okay, a lot of time has been invested here, but now that we're kind of aware of that, maybe we shift a little bit and have other people help with that activity.
Denise Baronia, for the record. I think it was a great question, actually. And there's maybe some leadership in the room who could potentially hear your voice, but not necessarily has control of that. But, we know that we have such a big lift, is a very small division. And it is a great question and a good point. And I think that one of our goals is to have like those friends of groups within our communities to help be that extra arm of our division while we try to build our team in the future. And then I know Fred had a question. If you save it for public comment in like 15 minutes, that would be perfect.
Sheva has her hand raised.
Oh, Sheva's got a question.
Sheva's been waiting patiently.
I do, and I apologize if this feels like I'm piling on Sheva Gabor Forest Service. So when Endor was founded, I think one of the challenges was differentiating from Department of Tourism and Cultural Affairs. And the nexus here is not just towards promoting tourism, it's towards conserving, and Elizabeth was getting to this, conserving some of our intangibles that are provided in the great state of Nevada that our outdoor recreation is based on. And aside from direct outdoor tourism around astrotourism, dark skies and the opportunity to view them are foundational to a lot of other experiences. And I would include things like backpacking, camping. Speaking as a Tahoe resident who's seen my dark skies impacted by development down in the valley, I think it's worthwhile more than just promoting astrotourism. And there's multiple kinds of outputs that are valuable. And I would encourage us to look just beyond how many visitors come to the state for this specific purpose, and making sure that we continue to get visitors to the state because we're preserving some of the qualities that drew them for other activities. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. I just want to be careful about getting super. I don't construe Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec as strictly based on tourism numbers, and I hope that's not the intent, Amy.
Thanks, Sheva. Any more comment? Sorry. Okay, sorry. Okay, great. Let's go on to number 10, board member updates for discussion. Each ABOR member will have 3 to 5 minutes to share an update about the work they've been doing in outdoor rec conservation. So. Start with you, go around the room.
Joel, so bunch of interesting research projects kind of in the planning stage, but my passion is diving medicine. We have a project going on right now surveying training for altitude diving, and we're collecting data right now on that, and hopefully this time next year we'll have a publication to share.
Tammy Boyd for the record. Miles sent me with a fair amount of information, some trails info from BLM. Beatty Trails is moving forward. We have written concurrence from SHPO that existing trails do not need cultural surveys, just the new trails. We're authorizing a categorical exclusion, which is already drafted. BLM and David Spicer are now just waiting on the final report to submit to SHPO for the new trails. Then the exclusion can be signed and the focus moved to construction funding. Also, Centennial Hills is in progress in Carson. Also, Lemuel Summit and Elko is authorized. BLM has been able to allocate nearly $400,000 in internal funding for initial phases of construction. Also partnering with the county to do the contracting. If that falls through, we might reach out to Endor for help. Right now, the funding is being reviewed by DOA for final approval. Ely's Garnet Hill Trails are in construction now. Red Rock National Conservation Area and Southern Nevada Mountain Biking Association received a large grant from Conserve Nevada for work on their trail system. And Sloan Canyon is nearly done with their comprehensive trails plan. They will go back out to the public when the plan is finalized to get final feedback. Some user-made trails are included and likely to be incorporated into the legal system. For OHV, BLM is in the early stages of rewriting our OHV regulations. This will change how BLM designates motorized roads and trails, but we don't know enough to say how yet. There will be a lot more information to come. These rules have been in place since the 1970s, so this is going to be a major change and it's likely going to result in lawsuits. For climbing, BLM issued a revised section on climbing in our wilderness manual. Basic permanent anchors are no longer considered installations. There are some caveats like no power tools, you can't put in too many anchors, etc. There's a possibility that this might attract lawsuits as well. For hunting, BLM Nevada is nearing the completion of a large statewide authorization of a host of wildlife management activities in wilderness. They will allow better science for NDOW and could have impacts on the number of tags that they issue. Included is maintenance of guzzlers in wilderness and wilderness study areas, which sportsman groups have been asking for quite some time. For visitation and fees, BLM Nevada now has the largest fee program in the BLM by quite a large margin. Utah's next, then Colorado, then California. Additionally, Red Rock is also the busiest single office for BLM nationwide. They get millions of visitors a year. And then finally, just one more note, BLM Nevada is straining with quite low staffing. We have 6 districts in the states. 3 of those 6 districts, Elko, Winnemucca, and Battle Mountain, only have 1 recreation planner for the entire district. That's not sustainable. We're working on it as we can, but just be aware that project organizations are going to suffer because of the lack of staffing. And that is all I have for Miles. Questions? Thank you.
Sherry Davis for the record. So I've got, currently working on a presentation I'm going to be doing for a rural conference that happens in October in New Hampshire. And it is based on mitigating heat and all sorts of things along that line. So I'll be talking about what and creating outdoor spaces within downtown areas to kind of, make it so there's less pavement and all of those things, but also to get people outside. And so I'll be talking about some of the efforts that Mesquite is doing, as well as Tonopah, Gardnerville, Hawthorne, and Goldfield with those outside spaces. So that's really exciting. So if anybody wants to share with me, it's going to be a heavy lift. So if there's anything you want to share, let me know. And then also Yerington, I'm really excited. What they're doing is they've got to go through NDOT still, but they have recognized all of the outdoor recreation that's happening around them, especially with their OHV trails, and understanding that there is a missed opportunity to bring those people into their downtown areas. And so I'm really excited to see how all of that ends up working out so that we can kind of apply that to other communities within the state. So keep an eye on Yerington as far as that's concerned. So we'll see it pass city council. So now I just got to get it through and yeah.
Denise Baronio for the record questions. The Yerington, some of the Main Street programs are directly affected by the Travel Nevada 3D grants, correct? And there's this great nexus between outdoor recreation and the Main Street programs and all these little rural communities that I'm so excited that you're helping us to bring to fruition through the 3D grant program. So thank you for doing that. And then also, if there's ever an opportunity for anybody else in the room to find a way to work with the Main Street program, I would highly encourage you, because there is just this huge outdoor recreation component that seems to be missed when small communities are planning, and especially like if they have state parks in their community, like where's the connectivity between trails and stuff like that, and to downtown. So I think Ely's been a really good example of that. So please reach out to Sherry for those sorts of opportunities. That would be great. Thank you.
My turn?
Your turn.
We do have a couple things that haven't been mentioned. I think the division did a nice job.
Vince got this.
Yeah, sorry, Vincent Guthrie for the record of the director of CNR. A couple things. The governor and the department announced a $42 million investment through the Conservative Nevada program, conservation and outdoor projects. If you need more information on individual projects, let me know. We can get that information to you. I also want to welcome Jonathan. He's our newest administrator over state parks, replacing a 31-year veteran, Bob Mergell. So Bob did not go out quietly. I had to drag him in the building, but Jonathan will be a nice replacement for them. Looking forward to his work in state parks. Those are my updates.
Thank you. LG's office, do you have anything, Michael?
Hello, everyone. So in regards to Pahrump, I'm also the vice. My name's Jeannie Reeves. For the record. So I am also the vice chair for Main Street in our area. And so we're working on some beautification projects to encourage people to come outside too along our main corridor there in our Main Street district area. Also doing some cool planters and some other events coming up soon. The Tourism Information Center revamp project is one of my babies, but Pahrump is going to look into more of the ordinance and see what we can do, maybe partner up and do some kind of dark sky park. I would love to do that in our area. And there was something else, and I'm so sorry, I forgot. But just thank you, everyone. This is a great meeting.
Aaron Keller, Nevada Department of Wildlife, for the record. I have a few updates, mostly because I was at these events, but just kind of want to shout out our staff. We've done some cool stuff over the last month. This busy time of year for us. Once it gets warm, everybody wants to be outside, so we try and do as much as we can. But earlier this spring, we issued all of our big game tags to residents and non-residents. More than 20,000 tags went out this year for big game, and so provides huge recreational opportunity for those people and economic impact, as well as Bobby's probably presented a little bit in the past. We had a very successful free fishing day the second Saturday in June. We did events all over the state in Winnemucca, Idlewild Park, Sparks Marina, Cave Lake and Ely, South Fork and Elko, Veterans Memorial in Boulder City. I joke that the Sparks Marina event is the biggest free fishing event in the world. It's more than 1,000 kids, and we give away over 900 fishing rods free to everyone. It's huge. It's one of the best events every year. The weekend before that, we hold our annual carp derby at Lahontan Reservoir. It's super fun. We bait in carp with corn and Kool-Aid for 7 days, and so we mix up this gross concoction and we chum them in. And then the kids come out and we just put corn on their hook and throw it out, and they catch 20-pound fish on Barbie poles. Every year there's, that scene from Jaws when the shark takes off and it's got the buoy. We see rods go in the water like that. Huge fish, little kids. Caught almost 300 fish in like 4 hours. So, then we also, we held a kids and family guzzler project, so a water development project where we invite kids out to get their hands on building our guzzlers. And that was huge. We had over 160 people out there for that. It was a great event. And we taught kids about snakes. We caught a bunch of lizards. We did skins and skulls, a bunch of fun stuff there. And so that's our annual guzzler water development project. And then Bobby said that he's never really mentioned it, but we have a free youth license program. It's a donation-driven program that we started in 2023, and we've issued over 16,000 free licenses for hunting and fishing to kids 12 to 17 years old. And we just opened it back up for this year, and we have 4,000 free youth licenses available. So I wanted to kind of throw that on the table. Feel free to give these out. So state parks, anybody that has kids coming through, we have handouts, we have QR codes to make it easy. It's going to cost you guys nothing. All you get to do is give them a free license. It's awesome. We do that as much as possible. We also do it early in the summer, so then hopefully they can use it and go fishing. And into the fall, we'll get a few more donations and be able to run hunting. And if you have any questions about that,
Jonathan Brunges, Nevada State Parks. Saturday, we're wrapping up the last of our America 250 service projects that we've held across the state. We've held 13 events, several hundred volunteers helping do conservation and recreation projects there. We had a meeting this week with the Bronco Wild Fund from Ford Motor Company. We partnered with them in the past in 2023 to do another recreation project at Spring Mountain Ranch for us. And so we'll be hosting that in August. With all of their Ford's executives will be there, and last time they donated an action track chair to us, which if you haven't seen, this is kind of those track wheelchairs for that we can use for access. And we have one of those at Santa Harbor in Lincoln County that we move around for people to use. And so we'll see what comes from that. We met yesterday with the event coordinator for an event that they want to hold at Santa Harbor. It's called Tahoe Coastal Rowing Event. It's kind of a new sport that will be in the Olympics in a couple years. They're practicing over at Kings Beach, but they want to hold this actual event over at Santa Harbor. It may happen this October, but for sure next October we're looking to do. But it's a growing sport, and we're happy to host that, and it should be a big thing. And then if you've been watching on social media, next week we're going to announce a new state park in Lyon County, and that project came together with Land and Water Conservation Funds, Conserve Nevada funds, and the Nevada State Park Foundation 501c3 was able to also acquire Reserve Nevada funds to help make that acquisition. So we're excited for that to be our 28th state park coming soon.
What's the name?
So the name, I'm glad you asked. Thank you. We're actually going to kind of put it out there for the public to get ideas, and then we'll have a committee to narrow down the top 5. And then we're going to again allow the public to vote on those top 5s and see where we come up with. So it's kind of neat history out there. It's traditionally as part the Broken Heart Ranch and then Chobbs Ranch. We can't use Broken Heart Ranch as part of the name because there's still a LLC with Hodges equipment out there in that area and all the property around. So we don't want there to be any confusion of what land they're on. And so we're going to go a different route than name. Let the public have input in it.
Well, Amy Berry, for the record, your social media right now is on fire. It's so good. You guys are having so much fun with it, and it's really having traction. So congrats.
Thank you, Jonathan Burns, for the record. And Indal's partnered with us, and India's been partnering with us. It's been fantastic. And I was looking at the stats this morning, and you see the bumps and what's happening with our social media and wildlife. I haven't seen India's, but wildlife as well. But it's been pretty impressive. And Tyler Curvers, our education information officer, he's done a fantastic job. So thank you for that.
Anybody online? Sheva, do you have any updates?
I do. I think that, Sheva Gabor Forest Service for the record. Denise, it sounds like you covered Tahoe Meadows master plan.
Not really.
Okay. Oh, not really? Okay, so just to briefly mention, we now have a contractor, thanks to Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec, to lead us forward with our master planning effort for the Tahoe Meadows. Nevada Department of Transportation, the Forest Service, and Nevada Division of Outdoor Rec are the core partners. We will be engaging other stakeholders, hopefully through a variety of means, not just public meetings, but also technology, smaller one-on-one sessions, and some other techniques that don't demand a ton of people's time. It'll also include broader public engagement. We are on a fast track of 4 months. This is solely focused on safe winter recreation. We will look at any improvements as they impact summertime activities, but it's not a summer recreation planning effort. It's also not looking at changing where we allow motorized use, so snowmobiling. We might choose to manage that in some other ways in terms of where we encourage people to park or access the area, but it won't actually change where on the ground users can snowmobile. So we're looking forward to a whirlwind 4 months completing that plan, which will probably be a record. And then depending on what we identify as solutions, some of that will need further analysis.
Does anyone have a computer?
Department of Defense.
Yeah.
Did I lose you guys?
Okay. Hold on a second, Sheva.
Okay.
I think our time ran out.
There we are.
You can mute yours.
Okay.
This system's back.
There we go.
Okay.
Red, good
Sheva, are you there? We lost you for a sec.
I'm here.
Maybe
Where
just-
did you lose
Oh.
me?
Well, now we don't have
Can you hear
audio
me?
sound.
Wait.
Hold on.
You need to put a few more quarters in the machine.
There you go.
There we go.
Okay, now we can
hear you. All right.
go ahead,
Okay.
Sheva.
You can hear me. Where did you lose me?
Go ahead.
I'm not sure where you lost me, but anyway, 4-month plan, master planning effort for Tahoe Meadows. No changes to snowmobiling use on the ground. Everything would be where facilities are located. And then I said NDOT and Endor core partners, engaging other stakeholders. I will move on to recreation and shared stewardship. Denise, did you cover that one already?
A little bit.
Little bit, okay.
Or we were redoing the contract, the agreement.
Yeah, it's an agreement. It's sort of like an MOU. It's between state and federal agencies to collaborate on outdoor recreation. We're going to be extending the agreement term. It was previously 5 years. We're looking to identify any new state or federal agency partners that might need to be brought on board. And then we're looking at new priorities, new technologies, just anything that's changed since the last agreement that we need to incorporate to move forward effectively. The thought right now is that we would have a short action plan each year or 2 years that would tell us specific things that we're going to move forward on, and then the agreement's the broader framework. So we're looking at signing that by early October with any luck. The couple other things I want to mention, we are starting to see some ability to hire. We have a couple recreation management technicians on the list to hire over the next year, so fingers crossed for that. One in each of our 3 zones, Southern Nevada. Well, we have more than 3 zones, but the ones that would get them would be Southern Nevada, Central Nevada, and Northeast. So keep your fingers crossed for us on that. And then finally, the resource advisory committees. The Forest Service returns some receipts from National Forest System lands, some multiple use activities like timber, grazing, back to the communities. So for the communities that elect it, they go to a Title II Secure Rural Schools Resource Advisory Committee. We have consolidated these in Nevada, so there's only one for all the Nevada counties that participate, and that's because we have to recruit 15 members, which can be challenging, and they have to be vetted nationally. The Nevada RAC is going to have $2.4 million to use to recommend projects, and a lot of these touch recreation. So like it could be campground improvements, road and trail improvements, noxious weeds projects. So long story short, we are looking for members. So if you are interested, it's a very small time commitment, or if you know somebody who might be interested, there's usually 2 to 3 short meetings a year, and you get to help recommend projects that benefit National Forest System lands and benefit national communities. The other things the RACs can do is recommend fee increases or new fees. So if we propose to increase a campground fee or something of that nature, we can actually work with public outreach, but then we go through the RAC to recommend approval. And that's one of the final steps in our process. So it's a commitment of a couple times a year meeting. There is an application form. If you're interested, let me know. And there are a bunch of categories that we have to fill. There's a prescribed balance for the committee, but if we see your resume, we can do some mixing and matching. So let me know if you're interested. Might try to drop some stuff in the chat or share it with Denise to share out in the minutes. And that's it for me.
Great. Raphael?
Hi there. Hello from our nation's capital. Sheva had the photo, but I'm actually in DC. We're setting up for the Great American State Fair that starts tomorrow. We'll have Nevada will be represented here for 16 wonderful days. I'll only be here for a couple. We'll have a team of staff and brand ambassadors that we're bringing in. Fortunately, we have the LVCVA who is taking up a majority of the expense because well, it's over $500,000 of total expense that we had to do. On that note, there's 3 outdoor elements that I think pertain to the group. We just came back, well, at the end of May from Denver. We participated in Outside Days. If you're familiar with Outside Days, it's a great event. It's their version of basically a South by Southwest for outdoor rec. We had our Space to Be area. We had a 30 by 68 square foot space. We had our yurt there. We had folks visiting it and attending this for the 4 days of the event, including a media event that we brought in media throughout Denver and some top tour operators that focus on outdoor rec and national parks. And I think that went really well. I hope everybody has had a chance to see Get Out There with Alex Honnold. As of 2 weeks ago, it had exceeded over 30 million views. Just to give you an idea, when we put the plan together, our year goal was to hit a little under 30 million, and we hit it within a little less than 3 months. So we're now looking to see what we do with a season 2 and that partnership again with Outside. You also hear Outside being mentioned quite a bit because they'll be a big partner of us when we open our adventure centers, which the first one, ribbon cutting and grand opening will be October 7th in Boulder City. And then the goal for Carson City would be February 22nd. But a lot of things going on. And if you have any questions, I'm here. Thank you.
Great. Well, Amy Berry from the Tahoe Fund, I'll go very briefly. We're just really excited about all the updates that we're working on the East Shore and Lake Tahoe right now, mostly with state parks and with the Forest Service, Tahoe Transportation District, to extend the East Shore Trail another few miles down to Secret Harbor. There's a lot of new parking lots going in. There's 30 new spots going in an incline. Chimney Beach just opened with 120 spots. Secret Harbor and Chimney Beach are now contracted through TTD, so it's paid parking for the first time ever in those lots. And then there's a new parking lot going in across the street from Spooner Lake State Park, about 250 spots. That's going to have a permanent AIS inspection station, and then hopefully we'll solve not only summer congestion, but that horrible Hospital Hill situation that we have at the intersection of 28 and 50. Hopefully we can figure out how to move that and get a concessionaire agreement with TTD to manage that. So, lots underway, lots of planning, but you've driven the East Shore, it's an absolute mess. And so the only solution is to get the parking lots and the trails built so we can get all the cars off the road, which will make it so much safer for everyone. Great. All right. Agenda number 11, call for agenda items and date for next meeting for discussion. Board members may at this time recommend agenda items, dates, and locations to the chair for the next meeting. No deliberation or action will be taken on any information presented until the matter itself has been specifically included on the agenda as an item. Does anybody have any?
This is Janie Reeves. From attending the Mountain Trails Conference, we did, well, some of us attended an e-bike class, and I know that's coming. So I don't know if maybe that's something the board wants to talk about, or I don't know. I just thought it was worthy to bring up.
Sure. Clint Prevance was on earlier from Barton Health and had to jump off, but sent me a text and said he'd very much like to come present on the integration between outdoor rec and health and what they call nature as RX.
Denise Baronia, for the record, yeah, he was already invited. So we asked him that he confirmed. Yes. Yeah, I think it'll be great to just have that kind of holistic view of how we can all better integrate the health aspect into outdoor recreation activities. I mean, it already exists, but to help just promote it and how we're going to do that together as a community. We are looking to do the next meeting south for the fall, like we have been. Reminder that the Yogi grant, the next round for that, for the TAC, will be in November. So we usually try to do like a September, October, end of September, beginning of October meeting. I'm just kind of waiting to hear when the governor's going to confirm that he's going to do the signing for the shared stewardship to confirm a date. But does anyone have a suggestion for location?
This is Janie Reeves. I'm happy to host in Pahrump. And that's
Okay. Else? Okay. Action.
Did I mention there's no winery? Just saying.
Denise, do you think you might, I know we've already done Boulder City, but.
Mike Dayton for the record.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mike, with the Lieutenant Governor's office. Do you, with the Adventure Center, I know we did Boulder City last year, but that might be a venue.
Ish, Hoover Dam.
Yeah, but maybe Henderson but it would be nice to have everybody and go to that ribbon cutting.
It's throwing out for the record. I did already talk to Jill about that, but I wanted to throw out the opportunity for other folks to share any ideas they had, but it would be a good correlation to when the Adventure Center opens, maybe do it at that time. Just want to be mindful of having the grant round too close to the next meeting.
So that's a separate meeting?
Because they're usually about a month apart, 6 weeks, but yes.
Elizabeth Johnson for the records, there's like a more regular ABOR meeting, and then the grant meeting is like just grants, like, because it takes so long that there usually aren't like presentations or anything.
Great. Action item number 12, public comment. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. The public may request that items be added to a future agenda. No action will be taken on any matter raised during the public comment that is not already on the agenda. Persons making a public comment will be asked to begin by stating and spelling their name for the record. At the chair's discretion, items on this agenda may be taken in a different order than listed in the agenda. 2 or more items may be combined for consideration by the board, or agenda items may be removed from the agenda. Do we have any public comment in the room? Yeah. State your name and spell it, please.
Hi, everyone. Nicole Flingus for the record. I'm here on behalf of the Nevada Outdoor Business Coalition. I wanted to just say really quickly, Endor helped us put on a wonderful conference in Vegas that we are going to make annual, and we are looking to try to host at the university. It was about bringing together stakeholders to have roundtables and discussions about what's happening in our outdoor rec industry, what are the biggest barriers, and how does conservation and recreation intersect. It was really exciting to bring that all together, and we're building our policy platform that we're going to present to the Committee on Public Lands, and then we're going to present to our legislators that are going through their current election season, but it's a really great time to talk about it. So I just wanted to kind of bring that to everyone's attention that we represent those associations, and when you're having those conversations and you want to intersect with the business community or the user group associations, we have a great connection there. And even talking about Todd's program, I think about major entities like the California Nevada Ski Association, the Southern Nevada Mountain Biking Association. They're specifically looking at really experts to come into the business field, and they're trying to get our students up to that level. Love to be part of the conversation, but I wanted to say thank you, especially to the Endor team.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody else in the room for public comment? Okay. Anybody online for public comment?
Sheva said.
Okay, we're having garbled sound system.
But she was making a suggestion for Denise Bronio for the record. Sheva was just saying that we could maybe do the next meeting in conjunction with the shared stewardship agreement signing, maybe down at Spring Mountains and National.
Mount Charleston. There's the short version.
Yes, Mount Charleston. Yeah.
Any public comment online? Okay, seeing none. Item number 13, adjournment for possible action. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Sherry.
Sherry is, do we have a second? Okay. All in favor? Or sorry, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much. Great meeting, team.
Thank you.
Thank you.